Okay, I messaged him the first time in 2011 expressing disappointment for his behavior and the fact that he was forced to resign from Congress. About less than a year later, maybe like 9 to 11 months later, somewhere in there, he poked me on Facebook out of nowhere and then started to message me, at first telling me he was sorry he let me down, and then it slowly led into compliments, which turned into flirting, and it just kind of escalated from there. Okay, the screen name, Carlos Danger, he didn't use that until later. He only used that when he made a fake email account to send me, you know, some more graphic photos, and that was the name he used on the email account. No, and I never asked why he chose that name because I thought it was really weird and creepy, and I didn't really want to know why. He's not. No, he's Jewish. I was totally shocked, but it was also kind of like a thrilling thing also, you know what I mean? I mean, almost immediately, you know, even though there was that initial shock, I still was responsive. Yeah, but it's hard to explain. It wasn't a physical attraction. I'm weird in that, like, if someone is extremely funny or extremely intelligent, that can be enough for me. And the fact that, you know, we're politically aligned, that definitely helped the attraction. Yeah, he did. Honestly, again, I was shocked, and I just, you know, set it back because I felt like I had to, but even then I knew he didn't mean it. It was, like, just part of, like, the fantasy thing and just the thing that happened in the moment. I messaged him the first time in 2011, and then in 2012 is when we really started to talk a lot. Mid to late June, I want to say. And then he has messaged me as recently as this April. So when he says stuff in interviews like, oh, that was over a year ago, I'm like, no, you messaged me April 12th of 2013. As graphic as you can possibly get. I mean, that happened fairly quickly. I want to say within like a week. No, I think it was more of this just like interesting thing that was happening. I know he definitely got more out of it than I did. I mean, he would want to think that I was, you know, doing things to myself even if I wasn't. Yeah, he did. A couple, yeah. Total shock that he would be willing to do that all over again. There was one point where I was thinking I was going to move to Chicago, and the condo I was looking at, someone else was going to get into it first. So, he had told me, I didn't ask, he totally offered. He's like, give me the address, maybe I know the owner of the building. And his exact words were, let me help, I'm huge. Like, he's such a big deal, he can just pull these strings. And I think that just ended up being another part of the fantasy of the situation, because then after we talked about that, it was constantly like, you know, how will I sneak in and out without your neighbors knowing who I am? And, you know, just silly stuff like that. That was like his whole big fantasy, was what we would do in that condo. It was like serious talks for a few days and then just like back to like the sexual craziness. Yeah, I knew. We talked about it. Yeah, I knew before the people of New York knew. I didn't try to discourage him. You know, again, I tried to tell him what I thought he wanted to hear, you know, that I thought he should do it, because part of the reason was he had millions of dollars in campaign money, and there's a time limit. You know, there's only a certain amount of time where he could use that. And basically this race was his chance to use that money. It's like use it or lose it. I believe it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it needed to be New York. And it was about $4 million in campaign funds. Oh yeah, pretty much. When we were really in the middle of it, we talked every single day. I mean, there were times where we'd talk for a couple hours. There were times where we'd have maybe like a 30-minute conversation. It just varied. Pathetic as it sounds, you know, he didn't know it at the time, but I was kind of scheduling things around him because he was pretty needy. And I started to like alienate friends, and everyone knew that I was acting off. They just didn't know why. Now they do.
You never told it?
No, not until much later, once Anthony and I weren't talking anymore. No, that's the weird part. There really wasn't. And then he messaged me in April. His Facebook had been deactivated. He reactivated it and had messaged me a few times. And the last message he sent me, he was telling me that his brother had emailed him asking if I was mad at Anthony. And that freaked me out because I had no idea. I didn't know about the brother. I didn't know the brother knew about me. It just kind of spooked me, I guess you could say. Yeah, to me it almost feels more like a business arrangement than a marriage. I mean, I don't think he would have been calling me 5 times a day for phone sex if he was maybe getting what he needed from his wife. And I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that's what the situation seemed like to me. And I think that they both feel like they should stay together because politically it's best for them. I think the ambition has a lot to do with her staying. No, as Howard Stern said, that would have killed his erection.
I tell my son, man, you can't afford me, man.
You gonna charge him for a verse, huh?
Yeah, I'm charging. He got money.
Dave Chappelle is a different type of animal, man. His comedic talent and timing is like no other. And I gotta honestly say, I can't disagree in any way, shape, or form.